So anxiety.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Cheap Smut. My name is Katie Mizell.
And my name is Carl Mizell.
And this is a podcast that would like to thank the makers of Prestique for this year's holiday cheer. How are you, honey?
I also would like to thank Prestique for no reason. No personal reasons.
No personal reasons? No? Not because it's the med that's slowly helping my brain get better?
Nope. Not even a little.
How are you, my love?
I am quite well. I am good. I had a couple of regular calls get pulled off my schedule.
Yeah.
So I love the holidays.
Yeah. Meetings just going away because people actually have better stuff to do.
Yeah, exactly. You love to see it. I love my day job. And I'm very fortunate to have the job that I have, especially because in my specific lane in the industry that I work in, it's dead.
Yep.
It's dead this time of year.
Mm-hmm.
No one's going to miss me.
Mm-hmm.
No one's going to miss me. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for having the opportunity to take it slow at the end of the year and then also completely stop for the
you managed to finagle your PTO just right to get a decent chunk off at the end of the year.
Yep. I am technically working on Monday the 23rd, and then I'm not working again until January 6th. So
yeah,
very lucky.
Very lucky indeed.
How are you?
I am good, thank you. I'm good. I don't know. My brain's going like a million miles an hour because I just spent a bunch of hours working on notes for this book.
Yeah.
Personal on Maine yesterday was bad. You know that.
I was here
for it.
I was here for all of it.
But I feel a lot better today, a lot better, and we'll get through it. Yeah, we will get through it.
I think like if you were to like make a lighthearted animated version of what happened yesterday, like when that happens, it's sort of like I'm walking around the house and then I just lean and then something comes something comes flying by and I just go back to doing the dishes and then I duck and something like. We do this and you're working so hard on your mental health, but sometimes just like me, I have days where I'm just like, fuck!
Yeah.
And you're the same way. You're just like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
We've gotten very good at understanding each other's needs, I think, especially as it pertains to when we're having low or bad mental health days. Yeah. So. Yeah,
it's pretty good. I mean, like, I feel awful in the moment because I'm going through something awful, but once I'm through it, yes, we do. It is okay. I feel safe and happy, at least while happy knowing that I will be okay.
Yeah.
You know?
And that you have the space to feel those emotions and let it out.
Yeah.
And not be judged or criticized.
And then, scream, oh my God, I'm a crazy person. And yeah.
Yeah. Then I go, no.
No, you're not.
No.
Not today, anyway.
No, not today.
Nope.
Speaking of crazy people, what do we have on the agenda for today? I'm kidding. That has nothing to do.
Actually, you know what? Sure, we'll go with it. These people are a little crazy.
Okay.
Let's use that as our transition. Today, I am telling you the story of Accidentally Under Your Tree by Marty Vee.
The Marty Vee?
The Marty Vee.
The Marty Vee who sat right next to where I am sitting right now?
Yes.
And worked on the cover? This
cover that I put in my notes because I wanted to say I watched the development of this cover happen in real time while she was sitting right there on our couch. Working through the cover with her cover artist, who is Kate Pryor.
Wow!
Yeah,
the Kate Pryor.
The Kate Pryor.
Shut up!
I know. And also, just a tiny little brag for myself. I wrote the blurb that's on the cover.
No,
I did.
Shut up!
We were bouncing them off of each other, and I was like, "What about this?" And she was like, "Yeah, I think that's the one." See, knowing that the development of this book, which was so good, happened even a little bit inside my home is amazing.
Within the walls of the Smutco Industries?
The Smutco Industries, yes. On that very couch where the Himbo Jones assaulted poor Marty Vee because he just loved her. He wouldn't leave her alone.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit.
He's a piece of shit. He's terrible with company. He really is. I try so hard to train him better, but he's terrible with company.
So fucking bad. Anyway,
let's talk about this book instead. So should we talk about our triple T's?
Of course.
Let's do it. Okay, so for our triggers, we have realistic depictions of anxiety and family and the holidays.
So that's like three of the same thing.
Yes, it is. Exactly.
So anxiety,
all wrapped together.
Yeah.
In one house.
But snow.
But twinkle lights.
Yeah, but also lights.
Gingerbread.
It's the same level of stress you feel, but it smells
smells nice.
It smells nice because they're cooking and
yes.
like your holiday candles are out.
Oh my God, yes. And at some point you get to give people presents. That's my favorite part of the holidays. I love giving presents.
You have to give presents to ease the anxiety.
Exactly. That's how.
Please don't hate me.
Please don't hate me. I got you something.
Christmas in America.
That was a breakthrough I have to share in therapy next week because I just now realized that might be why I love giving presents so much. Please don't hate me. I got you something. Okay. So for our tropes, we have, this is an FM cis heterosexual romance, flashbacks, one night stand, home for the holidays, fake dating, small town romance, third act breakup, and a trope I made up just for this. Who turned out the lights?
I gotta say, I think I'm developing a preference for tropes, and I think fake dating is just one of, not favorite in like, I like you love Snowed In.
I do.
I think I love fake dating, but not for the same reasons. I just because it's like it allows for so much. Yeah. So many questions. But also so much comedy.
Yeah, it's farcical.
Yeah.
Yes. It doesn't matter why you love your favorite trope. Yeah. You just love your favorite trope. And now you have one. Yeah. Fake dating. And this one is a nice little spin on the usual fake dating story, which is fun. And then for our titillations, we have mirrors and mom and dad's basement.
Ooh.
Yeah. So we got to be quiet.
I'll stay for the mirrors, but I'll...
Yeah. But I'm interested in the mom and dad's basement.
But I'm interested in the mom and dad's basement.
Yeah. So Marty writes all of her romances around the fictional small town of Grand Ridge, Michigan. She is also from Michigan. She's local. That's why she has sat on my couch. I imagine that Grand Ridge is somewhere between Grand Haven and South Haven.
Okay.
On the West Coast. Yeah. The closest major city would be Grand Rapids.
You know, it's funny. I never thought about this until you said it. That's the first time I can ever remember saying coast.
Yeah.
You said on the west coast of the state.
Yeah.
Because we always
have coasts.
But we do have coasts, but we tend to defer and call them
sides.
Mm-hmm. West with the west side. Mm-hmm. But there's more coast on the west because the west doesn't has Lake Michigan, but the east side has Canada. So
yeah. But no, yeah. I think of it as a coast. Go to Lake Michigan and tell me that's not a coast.
Oh, it's huge.
It looks like a fucking ocean. It's huge.
Yeah.
On the other side of it is Chicago, and you can't see it.
No.
So all these books take place in Grand Ridge, and I said, I feel like it's the Western Lakeside because of the way that these people act, the way that they conduct their lives. Like, does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, I would have. Because I've lived in Michigan my whole life, I completely understand Grand Ridge. I have been in that Methodist church basement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely, like, once you get to, like, Grand Rapids, that's when you start to feel the culture shift.
Yeah. But yeah, I have personally played bingo in that Methodist church probably because I have family on the west side of the state, though I don't see them anymore. This is not the, like, Star Point, Molly Harper, like, pretty Michigan small town. This is a much more realistic, less glamorous, feels more real small town. Mm-hmm. But it's just as fun because those people are just as kooky. They're just more realistically kooky. So for this book, we're going to focus on our FMC. Her name is Lizzy. She is average height, mid-size, but plush around the edges. She has long brown hair, brown eyes, and a very prickly personality. In the book, she is referred to as both a cactus and a temperamental house cat.
I was distracted by Himbo Jones low-key growling. What did you say her name was again?
Lizzy.
Lizzy, that's what I thought.
Yes.
Thank you.
So you can kind of get an idea for her personality. She's a temperamental house cat. She's in her early 30s. I think. I know Marty wrote it down, but I don't really pay attention to ages that well. She works as a management consultant after she lost her job about I think 10, 11 months prior to the book. She chose to build her own freelance management consulting firm. But because she had lost her job, her live-in boyfriend didn't want to financially support her through that. So she ended up moving back home with her parents instead. And she and the boyfriend didn't make it a month. You know, the relationship was pretty much over by then anyway. But obviously, if he's not even willing to support you financially while you try to build your dream, should you be with him? Yeah.
No. But you know, stick tap to him for waving that red flag so early in the relationship.
4 years into the relationship or something, but at least waving the white flag before he really fucked up something awful.
Well, you said a month. That's why I was confused.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, they didn't make it a month after they had moved out.
Oh, okay.
After she moved back home with her parents.
Gotcha.
My apologies. Yeah. So we meet Lizzy in a hotel bar 7 nights before Christmas. The book is broken down into segments, and it's all about the nights before Christmas. 7, 6, 5, 4. We're going to count all the way down. She is staying in a hotel in the city. I assume that city is probably Grand Rapids. After successfully finishing her first referral job, so she's feeling pretty good about herself, and she has chosen to stay at the hotel one more night because it makes her feel slightly more grown up than going home to mommy and daddy after finishing a day of hard work.
Yeah.
Plus, there's like an ice storm going on right now outside, and she would rather not drive in it. She probably could drive through it, but she just would rather not.
Yeah, I'll fuck with snow, but ice?
Yeah. I wouldn't fuck with driving on the west side of the state when the weather's bad.
Oh no. All that lake effect and all that.
Yucky. So she's texting with her BFF Shay about the dude that she's sitting next to in the bar because he has incredible hands. She has a thing for hands. That she says they are graceful and strong, but they are calloused, so she knows that they do actual work. She bets that they have held sandpaper sometime this week. You know, I think she says that they're a combination of Hosier and somebody else. Like, she has a thing for hands.
Wait till you see my hands.
Mr. Sexy Hands, man.
I got great hands. I'm just saying
I do like your hands.
Thank you.
So Shay is in her texts encouraging her to hit on Sexy Hands guy, but Lizzy is way too anxious of a person for that. So she ends up finishing her drink, standing up to leave. But when she stands up, the power goes out. The ice storm has cut the power. So she just reaches out and grabs onto the first thing she can. And it's Sexy Hands guy. And she's very surprised when he kind of grabs onto her and pulls her in. Is like, it's okay. I got you. It's going to be okay. And he comforts her in the dark. Hot Hands guy is our MMC. His name is Will. He's also in his early 30s, and he has hot hands because he is a contractor and a carpenter. So yes, he does actually do manual labor. He has like standard issue book boyfriend appearance, tall-ish, fit, but manual labor fit. I don't think he has abs because if you're not in the gym, you don't have abs. I have to tell you that right now. If you're not in the gym, in the kitchen, you don't have abs.
Yeah. Well, the abs are made in the kitchen.
Yeah. But like your standard issue, like hardworking, strong guy doesn't have abs.
Traditionally, no.
I'm just going to argue my case here for not having abs on everybody because they're impractical and kind of silly.
And actually a sign of not great health sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah, it can be really unhealthy to maintain that physique for a long period of time.
Correct.
Also, they are flexing to get them to look like that.
Oh, yeah.
They don't just walk around looking like that all day. They're going to get cramps. Get abdominal cramps from holding like that.
Oh yeah, you would be shocked. Like some of the like especially dudes, because dudes tend to have the more of the angles and the shadows and everything, the difference that lighting makes.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
Of course. We all know about lighting. Those bitches are contoured.
Yeah.
Of course they are. Absolutely. But anyway, so back to Will. He is a handsome, built, good-looking guy. He has curly or wavy brown hair and big green eyes. He always wears like chunky cable knit sweaters, and he smells really good. That's what I put. So he holds her like through the blackout for a moment, and he takes in her features in the dim emergency lights along the floor. And this becomes a pattern throughout the book. Who turned out the lights? The lights are always low for various reasons. It's it comes back again and again and always played to great effect. I love it. Fantastic pattern. So Will and Lizzy chat for a while and they decide that they're going to stay in the bar because the bar is not closing and they don't want to deal with the mass of people that are going to be going up and down the stairs trying to figure out what's happening right now. They would rather just stay where they are. Plus, he's on floor 10 and he doesn't want to go up 10 flights of stairs.
Yeah.
I don't blame him. Their chemistry is like immediate and extreme. It's so cute and perfect. It's not immediately like, fuck me right now. It's like, ooh, this is going to be good, you know? Then we flip forward 6 nights before Christmas. Lizzy is now back at home. She has a conversation with her mom, whose name is Kelly. They have a conversation in the kitchen. It doesn't go super great. Their family dynamic is not perfect. They have a wonderful mother, but she's not a perfect mother. She puts her nose in where it shouldn't be, and she doesn't listen to her children when they talk about their feelings all the time. So when Lizzy expresses that she is unhappy to be like 30 and living with her parents, Kelly's like, oh, who cares? It's fine. Who cares what other people think? Okay, well, this is the thing I am feeling right now, and you're not even acknowledging that. Like, okay, fine, whatever. Fuck me then. Bye, Mom. And she goes to her room. Or no, sorry. She doesn't go to her room. They change the subject to Lizzy's sister. Lizzy has a twin sister named Rose. They are fraternal twins. They don't look the same, but they are still as close as twins can be, except they had a falling out like a decade ago. And they have almost not spoken at all since then. Rose has a very successful YouTube channel and a social media presence where she does home renovations. It's called Will It Bloom. It's very cute. And Lizzy has made a point to completely avoid all of Rose's social media for the past however long because it hurts too much to see her sister being happy while not being in her life. Her mom wants Rose and Lizzy to make up, and she makes it seem so simple, obviously, like, oh, that whatever happened, it was forever ago. Just get over it. Okay, sure, Mom. Whatever. It's that fucking easy, Kelly. Thanks. Bye. And so she goes back to her room. She texts with Shay for a little while. That's where we confirm that she did actually end up sleeping with Mr. Sexy Hands the previous night.
Oh, a little off-page action.
Yeah. Actually, we're going to bump back and forward in time.
Okay. Gotcha.
So she texts with Shay about him, and she's like, I wish I had gotten his number. She gave him her number, but now the ball is in his court.
Right.
And damn it, she's been watching her phone all day, and he hasn't said anything. And then Rose arrives home, and she is bringing home her new boyfriend. They knew that she was bringing home her new boyfriend. He is apparently a longtime friend, and they have just started a relationship, but Kelly and Jim are really excited to meet him. And Lizzy decides to go to the foyer to see them, even though she doesn't really want to confront her sister yet. And then she sees the hands,
of course,
wrapped around the presents before she even sees his face. That rat fucking bastard. She runs up the stairs before he ever has a chance to see her. And he has been warned that Rose's sister, Anne, Rose calls her sister Anne, we'll get to that later, is like a house cat who runs away and doesn't want to meet new people. So he's like, oh, it's probably the sister, whatever. And he comes in, he gets himself settled in, he meets the family. From his perspective, Will and Rose are platonic best friends, and they have been for years. He is the contractor for Will It Bloom renovations. He and Rose have built their YouTube channel together, and now they are trying to get a deal with Netflix. And their representation has told them that they need to spice up their social image a little bit because it's a little boring. So their fans have always kind of will they, won't they'd, and now they're will theying. For the fans, for the show. They're fake dating, trying to get a Netflix contract.
Okay, I was trying to figure out where
the fake dating was
going. Because I was like, wait a second. You don't do cheating.
I don't.
So what's going on here?
I never do cheating. And so from his perspective, he has agreed to do this for a couple of weeks, and then they'll say it didn't work out, but they're just trying to do this for the Netflix thing. And he is so chronically single. It never even occurred to him that he would meet somebody else in the mean fucking time. So now he's got this incredible woman's number burning a hole in his pocket. He spent a fantastic night with her. He knows he has to see her again. He's just going to wait out this couple of weeks.
No, he's not.
Yeah. And then when it's all over, he will call her.
Sure.
That is until he is in the living room meeting with Jim and Kelly, and he's looking at the pictures on the walls, and he sees a picture of what is clearly Rose and Lizzy standing next to each other as teenagers. And he's like, who is that? And that's Lizzy, her sister. I thought her name was Anne. Rose and Lizyanthus were their parents' favorite flowers. So they were named after flowers. And Lizyanthus goes by Lizzy for most people, but her sisters always called her Anne. And so there is a comedy of errors, misunderstanding of mistaken identity going on here. Yeah. He had no fucking clue what he was walking into. And now he's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. This is on par with court-ordered romance in terms of the mistaken,
I know,
farcical,
it's so
fake
good
/ fake married.
I know, it's so good. So Lizzy runs. She leaves. She doesn't wait for explanations or understanding. She feels awful because she thinks that she has been her sister's boyfriend's affair partner. Like, that's even worse, right? And she texts Shay, who comes to get her. They don't go back to Shay's house because Shay's brother Laurie, is working on something there, and they don't want to have him involved in this. So instead they go to a local bar where Shay plots Will's murder and Lizzy drinks and tries to figure out how she is going to tell her sister that she accidentally slept with her boyfriend last night. And then she gets a text from a number that she assumes is Will because it's begging for a chance for an explanation to explain, but they block his number before they read anything. Very funny, by the way, Marty, that the 30-somethings had to Google how to block somebody's phone number. That's hilarious. Thank you so much for that. That was really funny.
Because you never say no to a friendship. Weren't we just talking about how hard it is to make friends?
Right.
And it's like the great millennial crisis is making friends as an adult.
Yep. So that was really the extra hilarity of them having to Google how to even block his phone number was just the cherry on top. We flashback to 7 nights before Christmas. We're still in the blackout. Will and Lizzy are drinking in the darkened bar, and he tells her about his very short, very failed marriage in his early 20s. He said they got married for all the wrong reasons. It didn't work out. He's a very emotionally intelligent man. He understands why his marriage failed. He understands what part he played in the failure of his marriage, but he also knows that it was never going to work and that it was toxic all the time. No matter what they did, it was better that they left. And since then, he hasn't really dated anybody. That's why he's chronically single. He's been, having fuck buddies and short relationships for the last 10 years or something. So
that sounds terrible to my specific brain.
Your specific brain, yeah. Like, oh God, no.
God, no. Learning new people
every single time.
No.
Yeah,
give me consistency.
The vibes in all of the scenes in the flashbacks are super great. They felt like that first night that we spent together in your car.
Oh, yeah.
Where it was intimate and a little dangerous, but not sexual, just like really intense.
Yeah.
It was great. I loved it. And again, it was all happening in the mostly dark because the emergency lights were on. So
it was the emergency lights in the bar or the parking lots.
Or
the parking lot lights at the
of
the Flint
where we were parked when
the Flint Community Players Theater.
Had our first date in a car 16 years ago.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they eventually end up sharing their first kiss in this flashback, and it tastes like cranberry vodka and electricity. Fucking great line. Great line. 6 nights before Christmas, flashing back forward, Will and Rose So Will has immediately told Rose about what happened with Lizzy. He's not going to hide it. He's like, I'm so sorry, but I fucked your sister last night.
Let me finish.
And she's like, that's what you did. What? Like, he flew in one night earlier just because her flight was full. So he had a night at the hotel. He got a drink. He didn't think he was going to meet her sister.
Yeah, what were the odds?
What are the odds? And so he's like, she's gone. We have to tell her. We have to tell her. She must feel like shit right now. We have to tell her. So they muscle through dinner with Kelly and Jim, and they leave to go out, quote unquote. And first they go to Shay's house, but Shay is not there. However, Laurie is there. And that's when we learn that Rose and Laurie have a very complicated and deeply fucked up past. And every time they're in front of each other, shit goes haywire. It's a great secondary storyline throughout this book. I loved it. I was so fucking invested in all these relationships. After they leave Shay's place, they go to that bar. They're like, oh, well, if they're not at Shay's, they're at the one bar in town where they could go. And after they order around and convince Shay to stop looking for sharp objects, they sit down and explain to Lizzy that they are not in a relationship. They have never been in a relationship. They plan to fake date for internet clout for a couple of weeks, but none of it is real, and that's it. Will then apologizes to Lizzy, and Shay, being the prickly bitch that she is like, well, if you didn't do anything wrong, then why are you saying you're sorry? And he says, because I made her feel like shit, man. I made her feel like she did something wrong.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. God. Will's a good guy. Shay's just very prickly.
I was going to say, you can be innocent and still hurt somebody, like, through an accidental, like, it's, those two things are not mutually exclusive.
Exactly. But still, I think this is mostly just a display of Will's emotional intelligence and understanding that even though he didn't do anything wrong, he still fucked up. Right?
Exactly.
So they sit down, they have a few drinks together. The rest of this scene is a tentative little wisp of relationship forming between Lizzy and Rose again. And that was the most invested I was in any relationship. I was so happy to watch their relationship come back because it hurt them both so much to be separated for so long.
Do they ever divulge what the rift?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. We get into it. So 5 nights before Christmas. So the next morning, Will wakes up and he's been sleeping on the floor because he's not going to share a bed with Rose. They flip night on, night off. And this was his night to sleep on the floor. He gets up, he goes out to get some coffee and finds Lizzy in the kitchen having already made that coffee. So they have a cute little flirt. And then Jim comes in, and so they go back to normal. And then Rose comes in, and she gives her dad like a peck on the cheek and a good morning. And he's like, what? No sugar for your man? And I had to witness the most awkward, uncomfortable kiss of all time. They have less than zero chemistry together. It was so cringe.
Negative chemistry.
Oh, it was
Jim was like, let me show you how to kiss your man.
Right.
Come here.
It was, I would have rather Jim kissed Will.
Let me show you how to kiss your man.
Exactly. It was so awkward. And we were watching it from Lizzy's perspective, and she was just like, oh no. But it was really funny.
Which is a weird peak dad thing to do.
Yeah.
It'd be like, no, come here. No, it's fine. No, it's not. No, I don't mean anything by it. I just want to show you guys how to kiss.
That would be really funny. It would. So after I washed the mortification out of my brain of the feelings of this kiss from inside everybody's head, they are going to the town's annual Christmas tree decoration contest today. This is Rose and Kelly's moment.
It's their Super Bowl.
And yes, this is their Super Bowl in the basement of the Methodist Church, where a bunch of pine trees have been donated by the local Christmas tree farm. Everybody competes to decorate the best tree of the year, and they take it fucking serious. There's a vision board. There are color-coded decorations in the basement. Like they are in it to win it. And Jim and Lizzy and Will are behind them 100%, but they are grunt mules for this entire thing. They go to the church, and by the end of it, Lizzy is just holding her hands out with like tinsel and baubles hanging off of her fingers, waiting for somebody to come and pluck one up so that they can put it where they want it. And Will is on hot chocolate duty, just making sure that everybody's got the snacks and the fuel that they need to make this masterpiece, right? And Jim is off somewhere else being out of the way.
So they're like the crew in the movie that we watched about the Barkley Marathons.
Yes.
Just feeding as they're decorating the tree. They're just shoving
shoving shortbread cookies in their mouth and just like making sure they have enough water.
So they don't stop.
Rubbing their shoulders so that they don't get cramps while they're putting things on the tree. Yes.
Get the Theragun out.
Absolutely. We are in this. And this was a great scene. I loved this. I loved this whole experience of being there for the tree decorating contest. But my favorite part was when Lizzy's hands were too full of stuff to actually drink her hot chocolate. So Will pulled her behind the Christmas tree and tipped her head back gently and helped her drink it. And that was for some reason very sexy. I don't know why, but it was. And it was great.
But I felt tingles.
So Rose and Kelly have put together what sounds like an absolutely incredible Swan Lake inspired tree. So it has a ton of feathers that come out of the side of the tree almost like wings, and as they go up turn from pure white to black, because Swan Lake is actually a terrifying ballet and the Black Swan is a truly terrifying character. I thought this sounded beautiful. It sounded like an amazing tree. However, they didn't win because Shay's family put together a super cute like Christmas tree train thing, and it was adorable, and they won because it was more family friendly. But Rose is more proud of her own because hers has the potential to be a formative memory for one weird little kid, you know, like that could scar a child. That's too cute. That could scar a child. That's what she wants out of her Christmas trees. And I love that for us. I love that for Rose. She's like, Santa's train, fuck you. I want my tree to give one kid nightmares. So that night, Rose and Will are chatting before bed, and he asks her what happened with Lizzy. He asked Lizzy what happened with Rose earlier in that day, and she said, you have to talk to Rose about that, not me. So Rose tells him they were supposed to go to State together. These are catch-all school names, but I'm imagining Michigan State.
Yeah.
She and Lizzy were all set to go to State together, and Laurie was already there as a sophomore. And then Rose dropped on everybody that she was going to go to St. Lawrence instead, out of state, far away. And that ruined her relationship with Laurie, and it also ruined her relationship with Lizzy. And the reason was because Lizzy felt betrayed. She had this whole plan set out, and then Rose pulled the rug out from under her. And
so have Will and Laurie and Rose all known each other for a long time?
Will and Rose have known each other for a long time. Laurie and Rose have known each other for a long time.
But independently
of each other.
Got it.
Yes. She says, at the time that we were kids and this all happened, I felt mad because I didn't think that my sister had the right to be upset that I was making my own choices. But now, as an adult, I do see what I did to her. I do see how I betrayed her. I pulled the rug out from all of her plans. She wasn't ready to be separate from me yet. And then when she was upset about it, I made it her fault. And when she asked for an apology, I told her no. And even worse than that, I talked shit about her to anybody who would listen.
That's the worst.
Yeah. I was a shitty sister. I was awful, and I don't know if I can fix it. And he says, did you ever apologize to her? And she says, I don't know. I think it's too little too late. Maybe not. Maybe you should apologize to your sister.
Are you both alive?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I think
maybe
you
an
should
apology
try.
still be in order.
Maybe
then?
try. Yeah.
Flip back to 7 nights before Christmas. The power is on long enough for Will and Lizzy to feel comfortable using the elevator. So they leave the bar. Will puts everything on his tab, charges it to his room. They have a very heavy petting and makeout session in the elevator. But when they get to her floor, there are a bunch of women waiting to go down. So she's embarrassed and she pulls away and she leaves, and he goes up to his room.
As opposed to the two people on the elevator waiting to go down.
Right. Lizzy stays in her room for like 10 seconds, and then she's like, fuck, wait, what was his room number? What did he say when he charged it to 1008? I fucking hope that's right. And up the stairs she goes.
Someone's going to be shocked otherwise.
Yeah, and she knocks on the door, and it is him, and they fuck about it. I mean, absolutely. This scene was amazing. So the tension that was built between the flashbacks of meet cute first date and the aftermath of what was obviously the best sex of their lives, I was like, this better be worth it. This sex better be good. And of course it was.
And I love the device
yes.
of how that that builds and going back and forth.
Absolutely. It was so good. So he eats her out for a while, first they like whirl around the room making out and like jumping on each other, ripping each other's clothes off, the whole thing. And then he eats her out for a while, and she realizes that she can see herself in the mirror above the dresser. So after she has come a couple of times, he's like, did you like seeing yourself in the mirror? She's like, I'd never really thought about it before, but yeah, I really did. Good. Elbows down, ass up, look at yourself in that mirror. So he has her bend right over the dresser. He goes to get a condom. Safe sex all around. Good job, everyone. And they fuck while they watch themselves in the mirror. Fantastic scene. And when they're all done, they both agree that this cannot be the only time they ever do this, for sure. Jump forward to 4 nights before Christmas. Lizzy, Rose, and Will visit their cousin Emmett and ride his horses. He has a horse ranch. So Lizzy and Rose have this like real sisterly conversation for the first time in the book, where they gossip about the events of the book Hazel and Elijah Find Out by Marty Vee, because that also takes place in this town. By the end of this time together, we learn that Will does not like horses because he thinks they are too big.
As somebody who's been hoofed by a few,
they're pretty big. Will is naturally inclined to be very attentive and caring towards Lizzy, but not towards Rose, which pisses Rose off because she's like, hey, excuse me, I'm supposed to be your girlfriend right now. Remember, we talked about this.
We have to sell it.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, fuck, right. Their cousin Emmett is way too attentive and emotionally intelligent. He sees through what's happening pretty much immediately. He doesn't call them out on it, but he asks Lizzy a couple of questions that make it very clear he does not believe that Will and Rose are in a relationship at all, but he can see the way that Will looks at Lizzy. He and Lizzy then discuss Rose and Laurie, and that mostly is just to reestablish that their relationship is volatile as fuck. This dynamic, it weaves its way through the book several times. They eventually will get their own book. Marty tells me right now she thinks it's going to be called Accidentally Tangled in Your Tinsel, which is a great name. That evening is the employee Christmas party at the KC Hall. Fucking love that, KC Hall.
Now, you say KC Hall. I always grew up as calling it KFC.
The KFC?
The KFC.
I never went to one.
Okay.
But calling it the KC Hall, I know what it is.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's just different, 2 different ways to say the same thing.
If you don't know what that is, it's the Knights of Columbus Hall. It's a meeting house for the members of the Knights of Columbus, and it's also where you rent out for birthday parties.
Oh God!
Wedding receptions,
anniversary
parties, retirement parties,
open house.
Right now, it is the holiday party for Jim and Kelly's business. They own a renovation company, and they are hosting a holiday party for their employees, and so Jim and Kelly are slowly retiring out of the business, and what they want is for Rose and Lizzy to take it over. That's probably what's going to end up happening because they are too well suited for those jobs to do anything else in the long run. I see what you're doing, Marty. I see what you're doing. Kelly, so instead of Rose and Lizzy taking over the business right now, it's Shay and Laurie. They're taking over the business. So they are also at this party. Kelly's a little wine drunk. She's fun drunk wine mom. And she and Lizzy have a chat about like love and romance, and Rose and Laurie. It doesn't go great. Again, Kelly's putting her nose where it doesn't really belong, and she has a lot of opinions, but she's a mom. And speaking as a mom, I know one day I will have a lot of opinions about what my children do.
I can't wait.
A lot. I just hope that I will maybe be a little more understanding in conversation with them than Kelly is. At some point, Lizzy gets cornered by some guy who hasn't taken no for an answer since like sophomore year. He's wanted to date her for 20 years, and he's been a prick about it the whole time. And eventually Will has to come to the rescue in this conversation, which is fucking pathetic, Mitchell. Pathetic. You need a man to tell you to say no. Anyway. So Lizzy and Will then have a little flirt, but he gets pulled away by a fan of the renovation show, and Lizzy goes to leave. But he ends that conversation as fast as he can. He's like, no, she can't go. She can't go away from me. Not right now. And he chases her into the coat room where they have a very surreptitious kiss behind the coat rack. And he apologizes. They both want more. And he feels really bad that he can't give her more because all of this like convoluted nonsense is his doing, him and Rose. She's just caught in the middle of it, but she is accepting it because it's what Rose wants, and she wants to do right by her sister more than anything. That night after Rose falls asleep, Will goes to find Lizzy. He knocks on her door, but she isn't in her bedroom. So he goes to the kitchen to have a glass of water and convince himself to just go back to bed. But he hears Christmas music coming from the basement, and he goes down to find her drinking wine in the dark, lit by nothing but a little Christmas tree in the corner. So, God, do we love a theme? Who turned out the fucking lights? And she's listening to Christmas music, and she's browsing the Will It Bloom Instagram for the first time. And when he catches her, she like slams it shut like... But so they end up talking about the business for a little while, the business of Will It Bloom. But that very quickly turns into a conversation about the amount of privacy that Will is able to offer her as a person in the public eye. She, even semi-public eye, she hates social media. She does not have one. She isn't on anything. Yeah. Just the prospect of being seen with Will publicly freaks her out. But she also says that she wants to date him. Everybody would know they were dating. She doesn't want to hide the fact that they're dating. She doesn't want to be on his show. She doesn't want to have her picture taken. Mm-hmm. And he says, okay, well, we can probably try to make that work. And now that she has expressed that she wants to be with him as much as he feels he wants to be with her, it's after midnight. We're in your parents' basement. We'll hear if somebody comes down the hall, right? And then they end up having sex in the basement. And this was very much, no matter whether you're 17 or 30, having sex in your parents' basement has a vibe, has a feeling to it. And it was there in this book. It was so funny. So she ends up riding him on the couch. Thankfully, she keeps condoms in her laptop bag because they're safety first. And she ends up, that's what she says. You never know. And she ends up riding him on the couch because it's the quietest way to do it. This scene was really great. Fantastic. Afterwards, they kind of cuddle up together. And in the aftermath, he's like, fuck, only a few more days. Like, I only have to hold out a little while longer before I can make this more real. He is very, very into her. Right off the jump, you can feel it, like in his bones.
Man, I bet you can.
3 days before Christmas, Rose decides to spend the day in town with a friend, so Kelly suggests that Will take Lizzy to the mall to help Lizzy find a good birthday present for her sister. Kelly's just trying to foster a better relationship between her daughters, and she's hoping that a boyfriend's insight into a gift will help with that a little bit. And Will's like, I'm not going to turn down an opportunity to spend a whole day with Lizzy by myself. So they go out, they spend the day together at the mall. It's very platonic because they are in public, but they're happy to be spending time together. He eventually convinces her to give Rose a basket of Lizzy's favorite things. Like, give her all of your favorite things. Share yourself with her again. And that is so sweet. What a great idea, Will. You are a good person. Back at home, Rose comes back. She's very flustered. I'm guessing something happened with Laurie, but she doesn't talk about it. She mixes up a pitcher of sangria. They drink really fast. She obviously needed a drink. And then Will goes to take a shower, and Rose and Lizzy chat for a little while. And this is where Rose first tells her that no, she really wants it to work out with Lizzy and Will. She thinks that they would be good for each other, actually. And he's a good person. Then then Lizzy asks why then, if he's a good person, like, look at him, he's attractive and he's a really good person. Why haven't you ever dated him then? Because there's nothing there. Mm. There's nothing there. It's completely platonic between them. There is absolutely no chemistry. And also she's got a whole fucked up thing going on with Laurie. But again, we are not going to talk about that.
Is it in the book though?
No, it's her. Okay. That's me making a joke about her avoidance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure if it was like the plot, like a B plot. You're not.
Oh, no. The B plot is we're avoiding talking about this.
Roger.
Yeah. That night they go to their little cousin's orchestra recital where they have to sit through a 10-minute long, horrifying version of I'll Be Home for Christmas. That's so fucking funny.
I'm not looking forward to that.
I know.
We've only had to do that once last year, and it was adorable.
Oh, it was cute, though. All those little kids singing in Chinese. It was so cute. While they're talking in the lobby after this, Lizzy is approached by 2 teenagers who ask if she is also a friend of Bill's. So in the world of Will It Bloom renovations, Will is known as Bill.
Okay.
And nobody knows that Lizzy and Rose are related. Like, it just hasn't really come up yet,
and
right?
They don't look
and
alike.
They don't look alike. So they come up to her and just ask, are you also a friend of Bill and Rose? Because a picture was taken with you and Bill today, and the comments are saying that he's cheating on her, but we don't think he would do that. And they show her a picture of her and Will from that afternoon while they were shopping for Rose. It's a perfectly innocent picture, but the gossip mill will gossip mill. And as soon as she is confronted with the reality that just being out in public with him got her picture taken, she shuts the fuck down.
Yeah.
She tells them, no, we're just friends. I am friends with Bill and I am friends with Rose. It's all fine. And then she just stops. Like, she just can't. She's completely frozen. Elsewhere in the building at the same time, Will is telling Rose that they need to tell her parents the truth. He can't lie to them anymore. He feels awful. And more importantly, he can't keep making Lizzy lie for them anymore. He can't do it. This is a toxic thing to be asking her to do. And Rose pushes back and says, no, I can't. I can't do that. I can't tell my parents I lied to them. No, you have to be a fucking big girl and tell them, or I will. Like, I'm just going, this is wrong. We can't do it anymore. And so she agrees, but they will not be telling them about Will and Lizzy at the same time, because that's just too much.
Yeah.
So instead, they will announce an amicable breakup online in a couple of days, and Will and Lizzy will get together sometime later down the road, maybe, you know? At that point, Kelly and Jim are ready to leave, and they have the minivan, so it's time to go. So they have to wrangle everybody. But Rose is nowhere to be found, so Kelly and Jim go off to find her, and they find her in the auditorium in the dark, lit by nothing but emergency lights. God damn it, Marty, I love it. And she is with Laurie. Kelly and Jim think that they have walked in on their daughter cheating on her boyfriend. Will and Lizzy know that they have walked in on something much, much more complicated. But Jim turns to Will in that moment, and apparently Will looks aggressive, so he thinks that he's going to fight Laurie. So Jim's like, not here, son. Don't do it here. And he's like, okay, he leaves, because he was never going to fight the guy to begin with. His aggression was actually concern for all of his friends who are obviously about to have their lives blow up in their faces.
Jim's like, no.
But Jim's like, don't hit him.
I want to get my deposit back. I want him to we come here every year.
They do. I mean, where else are you going to go except the KC?
Yeah.
So eventually they leave. They drive home in awkward silence in the minivan, and but once they get into the kitchen, the dams break, and they tell them the truth. Rose and Will are not dating. They have never been dating. They lied at first. So the first thing Rose says, because she's all flustered, is, me and Bill see other people. And Jim's like, what is this hippy dippy horse shit? What are you talking about? Oh, it was so funny and so awkward. But eventually they tell them the truth. We were lying. This was for internet clout. We were trying to get a show. We were really sorry. It was a dumb thing to do. Jim and Kelly are obviously very hurt. Will is, I think, incredibly brave in this moment and keeps eye contact with Jim the whole time, even though he feels so fucking ashamed to have lied to this man for so long. And eventually he apologizes. He says, I'm sorry for deceiving you. I love your daughter as a friend. That's why I agreed to do this. Mm-hmm. And I never wanted this to happen. I never wanted you to be disappointed in her. I'll go. I'll get the first flight out of here. But Jim is a Midwestern dad. And heck no, you're not going to be alone on Christmas. Plus, there's an ice storm coming in, and we don't even know if they're going to start grounding planes. You seem like a good guy, and you did a nice thing for my daughter. It was stupid, but it was nice. So you're staying for Christmas. And Kelly agrees. This is what happens with family. You love it so much. Rose was so terrified about telling them. And like 5 minutes later, they were eating cookies and making jokes.
I'll take stupid and nice over smart and evil anytime.
Exactly. So eventually everyone disperses and we are left with just Lizzy and Will in the kitchen, and he checks in with her and asks if she is okay, and she says no. Just having my picture taken and being put on social media without my knowledge or consent is too much for me. I can't do this. And he says it doesn't happen that often. It only happens when something big is going on. And she says, oh, something big? You mean like getting together with your co-host and then breaking up and then maybe getting a Netflix special and then starting to date her sister? You mean like that big?
Or something bigger.
Or something bigger than that. I can't do this. I think it's better if we just stop now before our feelings get more hurt. And then she leaves. And he accepts that, but obviously, ouchie bagouchie. The next morning, he wakes up to find out that the ice storm did come in. He can't even drive to Flint or Detroit to get on a flight. Everything is going to be grounded by the time he even gets there. So he's stuck and fucked and in a very terrible position. So he stays in his room all morning trying to figure out what to do. And then he eventually hears a power drill and that gets him out because he's a contractor. So
the song of my people.
I hear the smell of sawdust. I must go find it. And he finds Kelly in the kitchen. She says, Jim's out in the garage working on a project. You can go help him. I'm sure he would appreciate it. And that's how he and Jim kind of repair that relationship. Very masculine.
Oh, yeah.
They do house projects together for like 3 days. And eventually they're best buddies. They're drinking beers and putting up weird sconces for Kelly, because Kelly has a really, really cool sounding sense of interior decorating style. Mm-hmm. It's several rooms are described in the book. They sound amazing. I kind of want to decorate my house like Kelly a little bit. During that first scene with Jim, Jim asks him about everything that's going on. Like, what are you doing with my daughter? What do you feel for my daughter? And he tells her that he loves Rose, or he tells him that he loves Rose as a friend. She's his best friend. They put together this incredible business together, but it's never been anything but respect and platonic love between him and Rose. However, he thought he had something with Lizzy, but it turns out that he doesn't.
But he didn't.
He didn't. My bad. Lizzy and Rose spend some time together catching up that evening. They eat cookies and milk and they watch New Girl. And every time they talk, they learn a little bit more about how they are still so very similar, even though they haven't been close in so long. Like they quote the same movies. They like the same songs. They wear the same socks. You know, like they're the same person. And it's nice to watch them kind of realize that they always had each other. Rose apologizes finally for everything that happened so long ago, the apology that Lizzy always wanted but never got. And they talk about a lot of really deep stuff and they kind of heal the wounds a little bit. And then Rose invites Lizzy to come and move in with her. She says, I have a spare room. She lives in Kansas City. I don't know which one. She said, I have a spare room and you are more than welcome to it. If your business is freelance and you can do it from anywhere and you don't want to stay living in mom and dad's basement, I know you don't, or working in mom and dad's basement, come live with me. If your business is doing well enough to cover your own expenses, I've got everything else. And she accepts immediately. No questions asked, of course. Then they talk about Will. And Rose encourages Lizzy to give it another try. She says, I know it scares you. I will help keep you safe. I understand social media world way more than you do. But he's a good guy and you deserve him. And Lizzy says, yeah, you know what? I do want to try. And I have an idea of how to fix it. But I fucking hate this idea. So the next day, one day before Christmas, Lizzy and Rose go live on the Will It Bloom Instagram and they introduce Lizzy to the world, even though she fucking hates being on this live right now. Yeah. Rose tells the world, this is my sister. She's moving in with me. I'm going to be talking about her a lot more, but you are not going to be seeing her on camera because she is like a house cat. She just will skitter off. But we love her. Be nice to her, basically. And at the end of that live, Lizzy looks right down the barrel of the camera and says, I take it back. I'm sorry. I want to try. And that is a message, obviously, directly for Will. They upload that live. Once it's done, they turn it into a reel. They upload it and they send it to Will. And then he comes to
running
her bedroom door with a Christmas present that he bought for Lizzy. It is an adorable present. It's so sweet. I got a little teary. I'm not going to tell you what it is because it's a whole fucking thing. Read the book to find out why it was so cute. But once all that is said and done, he gives her an adorable kiss and they make up. And from from down the hall, you hear Jim say, "I told you so." And Kelly's like, yeah. So apparently they had some bet going about whether or not Lizzy and Will were going to get together in the end. Love it. Christmas morning, Will and Lizzy wake up together. They want to have sex, but they can't because of the, timing of the whole thing. They open all their Christmas presents. It's a really sweet scene. That night, after everyone has gone to bed, Lizzy and Will do get coital and then post-coital in the basement again, and we just get them cuddling and laying together afterwards as they listen to Rose and Laurie have a conversation in the kitchen. We couldn't really hear what was happening, but it sounded sad as fuck, whatever it was. After Christmas, they spend their last few days in town together until Rose and Will finally fly home 4 days after Christmas. But Lizzy is already planning her move. She plans on being there in about a month. Mm-hmm. And as soon as she gets back in the car, she's already putting together her packing list. Rose has put together Pinterest boards to decorate her room so that Lizzy has a space that is just for her and can support her growing business. She finally has a support system that really understands and loves her for her. That is basically the end of the book, but we do have an epilogue.
Of course.
Lizzy has moved to Kansas City and Will is bringing her to his apartment for the first time. It has been 1.5 months since they have done anything naked. And Lizzie's like, "I don't want a tour of your house. Take off your pants."
I want a tour of that dick.
Exactly. And that is basically the end of it. They share their I love yous, fade to black. And then at the end of the book, there was a short story called Hazel and Elijah Don't Get Caught. That was a prologue to Hazel and Elijah Find Out. I did not read it. I had to force myself not to read it because the whole series is on a reading list that I have for the hiatus. So I had to stop.
Gotcha.
But anyway, that was accidentally under your tree, baby.
It's adorable.
Thank you.
I love it. I love the weird stuff. I do. But at the same time, I do love...
It was just so cute.
Just such a sweet little nugget of...
I know. It was so sweet and adorable. Like I love the weird stuff. I love the dark, gross, creepy stuff, all of it. But come on, man. A cozy rom-com?
At
just
the
give
holidays?
Your soul a hug. Come on, man. It was so sweet. And Marty is a fantastic author. I always get just like the tiniest little bit nervous when I read a book from somebody I actually know for the first time, because I'm like, oh no, what if it's bad? It's never been bad. Not once has it ever been bad. But with this one, I was like, oh wait, no, this is actually really, really good. Oh my God. Holy shit. Good job.
This is almost worse.
Oh no, this is almost worse. Exactly.
Well, I'm glad that you survived, and I'm not feeling very transitional. So, what are you into?
Oh God, what am I into? Fuck, what am I into? I think you might have said this in the past, but I'm stealing it and saying it again. I'm into RRR.
I was gonna say that
God
too.
Damn it! Oh, RRR is a Tollywood film, an Indian film from. What is the director's name? Rajamouli.
S.S. Rajamouli.
S.S. Rajamouli. And it is one of the single greatest pieces of cinematic spectacle I have ever seen in my entire life. Every time we watch it, it is better than the last time. And I can't describe it. I can't explain it. How would I explain it?
You can't. Imagine every kind of movie.
Yes.
That's what this movie is.
It's every kind of movie except sci-fi.
No, I would argue there's a brief moment. I was thinking about it last night while we were watching it again. There was something that happened that was like vague. Like I was like, oh, that kind of qualifies as sci-fi. Although I can't remember what it was. But
there's no sci-fi. No, I would say there's fantasy mysticism.
No, but
there's no science because it's set in the recent past, so there is no futuristic science.
But there was something about it that I was going to make a joke about.
Oh, yeah,
but like, the only thing, there's nothing like strictly horror. But it's a buddy film. It's a rom-com. It's an action movie.
Yep.
It's a musical.
Yep.
It is fucking insane.
It's a call to action.
Yes.
It's a reimagining of Indian history in a way that is incredible.
Yeah. And then of course the Oscar-winning song from the soundtrack Natu Natu, which is the Telugu version. There's a Hindi version called Nacho Nacho.
Yep.
Which that's the version that I first heard. So that's the version I'm going to post in the show notes.
If you watch it on Netflix, you will be watching the Hindi version, not the Telugu version. Yes. But it is still in any language amazing. But I do recommend you don't watch the dub. You need to watch it in Hindi. Telugu if you can, but Hindi for sure.
Yeah, no, it's 3 hours long. It's phenomenal. Like, it will not feel like 3 hours. You have to watch it. Katie and I, we went on I know we mentioned it on an episode. We went through a phase where a lot of music that was on our YouTube was from Bollywood and Tollywood films. And then that got us into Bollywood and Tollywood films, and we've watched quite a handful.
Absolutely.
But RRR is the most just phenomenal thing. Indian cinema is you cannot fathom cinema in India. It dwarfs the American film industry. And we'll talk about it some other time. But
for sure. But sit down, watch it. It's amazing. For my book talk girlies, about 20 minutes in, a very attractive man wearing nothing but a loincloth pours blood all over himself in the woods. Okay, there's a swath of you who are really gonna like that, because after that he fights a tiger. Okay,
again, two extremely handsome men,
distinctly different types of handsome men. Yeah, but both very good looking.
Yeah, Ram Charan plays Raju or Ram, and then NTR Jr., whose name I cannot.
Junior NTR,
he plays Akhtar.
And that's not his name.
It's not his name, but they go by Ram and Akhtar. So I'll post the video. I'll post the video for Nacho Nacho. I'll probably post a trailer, and then because I was gonna say RRR.
I'm sorry, I took your. No, what are you into instead?
I was gonna say RRR. And I was also gonna say, fuck it, we're just gonna throw links. I was gonna say Ratatata by Baby Metal and Electric Callboy.
That's good too.
But I'll put that in there just because it's fucking fun and it's Christmas, so that's my gift to you. So I will also say that I'm gonna put one of my other favorite Bollywood videos. I'm gonna put from Simba. I'm gonna put Ankamari.
Oh, Ankamari is so good. Put that and put the original.
And the original?
Yes, because they're so good. And then you can watch both and you can see how they're different but the same.
Yep.
Oh, and the original's so good too. All the dancing in that is so much fun.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I was going to go with that or Galan Gudian, but from Dil de Donkadoo.
I think it's Dil de Donkadoo.
Dil de Donkadoo.
Yeah, either way. We don't speak Hindi.
We're white.
We're white. We love your film and your food. And your culture, it seems beautiful, but we don't know enough about it, and we're trying to learn more.
I'm so sorry that I can't pronounce it. What do we have now? This is our next to last episode. This is our next to last episode before our hiatus. We have decided we are going to return to the main feed on Monday, February 17th, 2025. So if you're a Patreon patron, that means we will return on Monday, February 10th. We do still have, now this is not going to matter to anybody listening because this is hitting on the 23rd on the main feed. Main feed, the 23rd. So if you're a Patreon patron and you're hearing this Friday, December 20th, if you're hearing this on the main feed, I'm sorry you missed it, but we are going to announce it on the social media, so you probably heard it. Time is weird. We are hosting the first annual Smutco Industries Company Christmas Party. We are going to be a little toasty and a little inebriated, but we are going to record an episode live as we stream it. We're going to stream it on YouTube for sure, Twitch probably. Mm-hmm. It's going to be Friday night, December 20th at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're a Patreon patron, that is relevant to you because this episode will hit the feed on Monday, December 16th.
Yep.
If you're
Tell
here,
your friends, share it around. The live will be open to anybody, but once it's recorded, it will only be on Patreon, right?
Correct. That is the Patreon bonus episode for December. So the benefit of being a Patreon member is that if you don't make the recording, if you can't be on for the live stream, you will get to access it.
Yes.
And if you're not a patron, you can jump on the live feed, but you won't get to listen to it unless you become a patron.
Yeah.
So
you won't be able to go back to it.
Yeah.
Again.
So what is the final book of the year for 2024?
The final book for 2024, I am closing out Cheap Smut in true Cheap Smut fashion, and we are reading Mean One by Absinthe.
Mean
One.
Okay, so it's sort of like a Grinchy.
You're a mean one.
We're fucking the Grinch.
We're fucking the Grinch.
Oh, okay.
But Mean One by Absinthe, Because I Am Who I Am, is an erotic ho-ho horror spectacular. I already started reading it. I am in a group chat with Jenny and Katie and Cassie. This is the book we're reading. It is bonkers, and I cannot wait to tell it to you. It's gonna be great.
And I cannot wait to hear it. But in the meantime, you can find us on social media. We are on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, and Blue Sky. All those links are in the link tree down in the show notes. If you'd like to send us an email, please do so. cheapsmutpod@gmail.com. Once this episode hits the main feed, the top link in the link tree will be a link to this book. It is not an affiliate link. We don't get any money for it. We're just trying to help the author out. If you would like to support us financially, you can do so on our aforementioned Patreon, like these fine folks have: Zoe Barrett, Emily Purley, Aaron Manak, Miss Chris, Raven, Natasha Bear, Desiree Rodriguez, Local Mind Flayer Seattle number 42, Bookworm, Kitsune Inc., Cassie, Cassandra, Brian S., April D. Berry, Leah Legend, Dana Goddard, Gemma, Lady Squishy Buns, Tia Esk, Rob Gatika, Angela McNichols, Katie Hurd, Gwendolyn Harper, Seneca O, and Rebecca K. The music that you hear for this and one more episode.
Yes!
Because we're going to have new theme music, because I'm writing that shit as we speak, is called Nostalgia by Mackay Beats. You can find it along with thousands of other songs free of charge for you to use, but not you, Himbo Jones, but I guess you can use the theme song at the Free Music Archive, the one that I'm writing, freemusicarchive.org.
Oh, it's so nice of you to share it with him.
Well, he doesn't deserve it, but...
Listener, remember, if there is a book in you, write it. And if there's fucking in it, I'll read it.
And then she will come on this show and explain it to me for your entertainment.
Bye.